guys, welcome to the Tech Check Season 2, Episode 16. Before we begin, here's a word from our sponsor.
Today's sponsor is Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. It has creation tools that allows you to create and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. Anchor also distributes your podcast for you on multiple platforms such as Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can make money with no minimum listenership, and everything is in one place to create a podcast. Download Anchor on the App Store or Play Store, or you can go to anchor.fm to create your podcast today. All right, guys, welcome back to the Tech Check. Today we have Amar from HyperLinq. Hi, Amar. Could you give us a brief description about what HyperLinq is?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Amar. I'm the founder and CEO at HyperLinq. HyperLinq is actually a tech company that builds tools for traders. Primarily, we are operating in cryptocurrency market right now, but we do have plans to expand to equities like stock market, for example, in the US and worldwide, and also be able to provide tools for Forex traders. Our operations is global, given the nature of the cryptocurrency market. So although we are a US-based company, our customer base is across the world.
Awesome. That's really cool. So what inspired the foundation of HyperLinq and where did the name come from?
That's an interesting question. So back in the day, I think 2016-17, one of my coworkers and I, we were working with this interdealer broker firm in New York, headquartered in London. It's world's largest interdealer broker. And we were into building trading systems, so high throughput API trading systems and stuff. He was a product manager. I was an engineer. And together we were also doing some side trading on cryptocurrencies. So my co-founder, Karamveer, was also a cryptocurrency miner back then. So we started trading, and there was this huge opportunity in the market back then to do arbitrages. So you could buy cryptocurrency on one exchange and sell it on other exchanges and kind of make the spread in between. Although that opportunity is not much anymore in the market. So we kind of pivoted. But going back to the story, we were doing this and we were opening up multiple browsers and multiple exchange apps and trying to do trades. We were constantly on the call with each other. And so we envisioned one integrated platform where we can link up all of these exchanges together. Now, before we did that, we wanted to go out in the market and check out if something is there that we can use. Because at that point, we were not thinking of starting a company or building a product. We were looking at it purely from a trader's perspective. So we were looking for a product that we could use. And there were so many products out there in the market, but none of them really helped us do exactly what we wanted, because we wanted efficiency in the system. We wanted really fast execution and getting market data from various venues all in one place seamlessly. And that's why we decided to finally build our own. And so the name comes in because we link different trading venues and we link them really fast. And also on the web, you know something called hyperlink, like with a K. So it's really linking different resources for trading in one place, but we played with the name, and instead of K, it ends with Q. So that's where the name comes in.
Thank you. You mentioned that you have an advantage over our contemporary trading platforms. So could you just describe for us what type of technology allows you to gain an advantage over those other platforms?
Sure. So our flagship product is called HyperTrader. It's a native desktop app as compared to all our competition who generally build web applications, because it's much easier to build and deploy, and it's much cheaper to operate. But we decided to take a different route because we come from professional trading background. So we did not want to go on the website, like a web app application side, because the web application stack cannot actually compare in terms of performance when it comes to native desktop application, for example. So we build native desktop applications for Windows, Linux, and Mac. And so the connection between the application and these exchanges are peer-to-peer, meaning Nothing comes through HyperLinq servers. So a client installs this application on his machine or her machine, and then attaches the credentials for the exchanges. And then the moment that happens, we create a tunnel between the app and the exchange, so a direct connection. So that helps us speed up the transfer of data between the exchange and the customer. So market data or order execution happens really fast. In fact, we have seen that when exchanges' own websites cannot scale during peak hours, people actually say on Twitter that HyperTrader was functional and they were still able to trade. And the reason is because the way we connect to exchange scales far superior than any other application right now.
Um, you mentioned that there's a direct connection between the person's app and exchange services, and it doesn't go through your servers. Does this add like a level of privacy that customers value?
Yes, it does. Our version one was very, very privacy centric in a sense that there was absolutely nothing on our side, and users had this application running contained on their machine. And so even the API keys or the data, everything was very private. Right now, it's kind of a semi hybrid, you would call a hybrid arrangement as compared to version one, where we are still storing some of the user data on our servers, but majority of transaction data is still on user's computer. So anybody at HyperLinq really doesn't have an insight, a view into traders' activity as of now. And we personally are very privacy focused. If you look at me on Twitter, for example, I talk a lot about privacy. And so we do not want to sell user data. We do not want to monetize user data. And that's why the application is not free. Because the moment you make a product free, the product is not the product. You are the product, right? Because I have to, as a company, always have to monetize one way or another, right? So we want to value user privacy, and that's the reason our customers also value that very much. And because of that, we see higher percentage of annual recurring subscription rather than monthly. Um, in our industry, that's very rare. We get like about 65 to 70% of recurring subscription on the yearly side and not monthly. So yes, users do value that.
Wow, that's really cool. So a question that I had was, how has the COVID-19 pandemic affected HyperLinq?
Okay, it's a very fortunate time for a lot of people, and a lot of people lost jobs, and I know personally a lot of people who have hardship. Fortunately for HyperLinq, it was a different scenario. I think partly because people had more time, so they're not commuting, they have more time to spend at home, they're working from home, so they have this ability to spend more time on trading. And because of that, we see a lot more users coming into trading and trying to use HyperTrader. So we actually saw a lot more growth during COVID months, especially during the peak lockdown period. Um, Otherwise, with regards to, for example, remote working or like hiring, we haven't seen any impact because HyperLinq, even before COVID, we were all 100% remote. And so the way we have designed HyperLinq as a company and the culture that we promote, remote working is very much encouraged because we want people to be able to have that flexibility. We do have an office in New Jersey, um, but nobody's mandated to work from office. So for our employees, nothing really changed.
Amazing. So, especially in the past couple months, with people becoming more invested into cryptocurrency trading and stock trading, how do you see HyperLinq growing over in the coming future?
So HyperLinq operates right now in retail market, and we have seen a lot of retail investor interest into trading, especially in cryptocurrency market, and also in stocks. I mean, like you saw the GME saga that recently happened with GameStop, right? So people are interested. People are able to trade more. Robinhood has given them the capability and opportunity to do just that. Um, what Robinhood did really was, and I want to bring this in, it's really important, that they gave the ability for everyday trader to trade small volumes, meaning you could trade $1 for a stock rather than buying the full stock, for example, right? In cryptocurrency market, that has always been the case. You do not need to have, say, $25,000 account balance to be able to become a day trader. So there is a lot more democratization when it comes to trading for retail and crypto. So a lot of retail traders are moving towards crypto trading because that gives them more opportunity to trade globally and also not restricted by these rules created by the brokers, right, or regulatory authorities in a lot of other countries, right? We are all for regulations, of course, but crypto in general gives them more freedom. And so a lot of people are investing into cryptocurrencies. And also, forex trading in general is always larger in volume when compared to stock trading. So I do see that there is an increasing demand for for trading in general and for retail trading specifically, and that's where we are focusing right now, and we see huge opportunities going forward.
Cool. So, I was wondering whether cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, I know I've personally invested a bit into Bitcoin in the past,
Mhm.
but do you think that Bitcoin could possibly be used for like shopping for clothes in local stores in the future?
Yeah, so Bitcoin was generally perceived as a currency for peer-to-peer transaction. um, I personally do not think it's feasible because of the scalability issues with Bitcoin particularly. But there is something called Lightning Network, which you might want to research more on. Lightning Network is kind of on top of Bitcoin, where they do high throughput transactions. Uh, Lightning Network could actually enable these kinds of transactions, especially if you want to go to store and buy something. But I think Bitcoin has evolved far more than being just a cryptocurrency now. I think a lot of people look at it as a store of value, like you see gold, for example. So um, during the early pandemic days, if you see the like, COVID-19 months, like February to April 2020, you would see the gold prices going up. And the reason for that was because a lot of economies were getting unstable. So people are pulling out their fiat currencies and buying gold. The same thing happened with Bitcoin as well. A lot of people started investing in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is growing more as a store of value than just a regular currency. And there are other currencies you can use for daily transactions, right? Um, but Lightning Network might make that possible.
So, considering the whole industry, how do you see technology of like trading platforms expanding in terms of new innovations and techniques in the future?
I think one of the major concerns with trading applications in general is the user experience. It's been horrible, and it has been horrible for decades. And also, it's very expensive to get those tools that people need. And there is a huge disparity between the tools that you get as a professional investor, like an institutional investor versus a retail investor. There is a disparity in data. So I see a lot of scope for innovation in trading systems, especially for retail investors, right? And we also see a lot of automation coming in, and that's the next step for HyperLinq as well. We're building a lot of automation into trading eventually, and like smart trading, and then be able to do algo trading. And if we are able to design something for everyday trader to be able to create their own algos without actually writing a piece of code, that would be amazing. I think we're heading towards that.
Yeah, I agree. And another question that I had was, what advice would you give to a student who wants to work in the field of crypto exchange trading platforms?
Um, so if you want to get into blockchain, it's simple programming. So you definitely need to have interest in computers, and you need to be able to code. So coding, I think, even if you don't want to go into cryptocurrencies or blockchain or trading, regardless of that, I think everybody needs to know coding. So all your peers should, all your like students should learn how to code. because it's one of the essential skills you might want to acquire, right? Um, Going into trading, it's really a function of both coding as well as knowledge of the market. So you might want to start taking a look at how the markets behave, and try to gather as much information about market as well. So you could maybe decide to track one or two stocks every day. You could do that, or you want to track one or two cryptocurrency or digital asset every day and see how that moves. And then there are a lot of online resources you have where you can go and start learning how to technically analyze markets and how to do fundamental analysis. So all that paired with your coding knowledge, you could become somebody who could design things for trading. But if you just want to be a trader, you got to start trading.
Thank you. So I guess sort of our closing question is, where could we contact or reach out to HyperLinq? Like, could you just give us some resources we could use for any listeners who want to contact you guys?
Sure, you can go to hyperlinq.io. Hyperlinq is HyperLinq.io. You can go there, and you can, if you want to reach out to the founders, you can email us at founders@hyperlinq.io. I'm available on Twitter. It's Amar Gautam. You can follow the company on Twitter. It's HyperLinq HQ. So those are the places you can reach out to us. We are very open. We're very approachable. We like to talk, and we like to we entertain a lot of questions, really. And I'm glad you guys reached out, because I think it's important for us to interface with people in your age group, right? In people who are in high school or undergrad programs. It's really important for you to also get that kind of exposure. So definitely, you can reach out to us anytime.
Thank you. Not only for the advice, but for coming onto the podcast with us. For listeners, we're going to be putting all of at least the website down in our description on YouTube and through our social media. So look out for that. Amar, thank you again for hopping on the podcast with us.
No problem. My pleasure. And anytime. Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you all for listening. Stay safe and have a good one.